I'm Debbie Barnett, and today we have the pleasure of interviewing Janelle Schatz, who represents Alzheimer's and birthed the Mah Jongg for Memories effort. Tonight, Janelle will share how she brought Mah Jongg and Alzheimer's together to create a great cause. Janelle, welcome, and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Debbie. I'm so happy to be here, and I really appreciate this opportunity to share about Mah Jongg for Memories, which I now understand is my fourth child. I didn't realize I had birthed it before, but it's good to know.
Oh my goodness. Well, we do get some of these rogue children along our life, don't we? And sometimes they're wonderful assets, and I think this has been a great asset to you. So, Janelle, I want to get started with my very first question, which is always about how you got involved in Mah Jongg. So I'd love for you to share and tell us about your Mah Jongg journey, and how you got involved in creating Mah Jongg for Memories.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm out here in Oklahoma, and Mah Jongg has not traditionally been a game that people played out here. So I really didn't know a thing about the game or even hear about it until probably about 2012. And a friend of mine, a good friend, had started playing, and she knows that I like games. She knows I'm competitive, and I'm a CPA, so I'm all a numbers person and all that. And she came to me and said, I think you'd really like this game. I think you ought to learn this game. But at that time, I was a caregiver for my husband, Tony, who was dealing with early onset Alzheimer's. He had been diagnosed in his 50s and was entering the later stages at that time. So it was impossible for me to get involved in. But after he had passed, I did take her up on that offer, and that was in 2013. And so I went to a meeting with a group of other gals who were playing, and I was almost instantly captured by the game. I went home, I bought 2 sets of tiles, I bought the books, I started reading, and I just was in love with it from the get-go. The game itself, the beauty of the tiles, the vintage tiles, I started learning that. The camaraderie, of course. The camaraderie was very, very important to me and did help me in dealing, with the grief of that situation. And so I'm just very thankful to my old friend, I should say longtime friend, maybe.
You can't use the word old these days anymore.
That's right. So, but, very thankful to her for introducing me, and then also to the many, many new friends that I've made on this journey since I started playing Mah Jongg and learned about it.
Wow, that's fabulous. That's fabulous. And so how did you come about to creating, how did Mah Jongg and Mah Jongg for Memories eventually become a thing?
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously because of the fact that my husband had gone through that, I definitely, it was a cause that I was committed to. And I had my family and I, shortly after he had passed away, had formed a team for the Alzheimer's Walk. And because he had a lot of friends and people knew what he had gone through, we had been very successful. So I was invited to go to a national meeting that the Alzheimer's Association was having. And at that meeting, I heard a presentation about the Longest Day fundraisers, which I didn't know anything about. And just for you all, the longest day fundraisers are kind of do-it-yourself events. You can do whatever you want to share, to make people more aware of the trials of Alzheimer's disease, and also to raise money for research and care in the fight against Alzheimer's. So I heard about the longest day events, and more importantly, I heard that the National Contract Bridge League was raising over $1 million a year. People across the country playing bridge and making donations. And I thought, well, Mah Jongg players are generous, and we have a lot of Mah Jongg players these days. And so maybe this would be something that we ought to think about doing too. So I went home, had a little event here, and I know that it's traditional for Mah Jongg players to have tournaments and that kind of thing. So it fit right in. My little event went well, and I talked to the National Office of the Alzheimer's Association, and they were willing to support us in trying to take this national. So we're not anywhere close to $1 million, and we maybe never will be, but it has been very successful. We have 31 teams this year around the country, people doing different activities that are centered around Mah Jongg to raise money. We had many influencers in the Mah Jongg community jump right in from the get-go. And that, of course, has had a lot to do with our success. Gladys Grad was running Mah Jongg Madness at that time, tournaments, and she was a big supporter. Dawn and Dara at Modern Mah Jongg, they were just launching their business too, but they were one of the first to call me before I even knew what I was doing for sure, and jump on board. And they have been behind us, from the very beginning too. So that kind of national effort started in 2019. So this is sort of our 5th year, but I say it's really our 4th year because we lost a year during the pandemic. So, the popularity of Mah Jongg has really exploded, as everyone knows. And so we feel like our timing was very good to get in on this. The game itself is good for our brains, so it fits in well with a fundraiser for Alzheimer's disease, because we're not only having fun while we fundraise, but we're also doing something that hopefully will help each of us prevent the onset of Alzheimer's or another dementia.
So I think you maybe touched on it briefly, but what impact have you seen Mah Jongg for Memories have on the Alzheimer's community so far, since you've been involved in it all?
Well, I think if nothing else, it's raised awareness a lot about the disease itself. Obviously, these days, most of us know someone who's dealing with it, either a friend, a grandparent, a spouse. And so we're familiar to some extent with what it is. But in terms of knowing how to find help and programs, I think our work in the community has helped spread some of that information. For example, at all of the Mah Jongg fever tournaments, we are allowed to have a table where we distribute information. We tell about the hotline that's available 24/7, where experts are available to help deal with emergencies that might come up, and they can do that in 200 different languages. So we've spread that information, and then equally importantly, we've raised a lot of money already. I mean, because of the generosity of the players themselves, and of the team leaders of these various types of events around the country. And if you want me to, I can go ahead and talk about that success in fundraising right now.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it sounds like the support from the Mah Jongg community has been tremendous. I mean, very receptive. And it doesn't, from what I see, and you could share more on this, it doesn't matter how many events somebody has during the year. The same people will donate over and over again to participate in the activities. If it has to do with Mah Jongg, they love, to contribute to the cause because it's connected to Mah Jongg. So it's so synergistic. Yeah. So
exactly.
I'd love to hear more about some of the initiatives around the country, or the ones that stand out the most to you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there are just a lot of different ways. And Deb, because you're right in the middle of it. I mean, at MoshCon, you had a fundraiser for us, a raffle. You've had one every year. And I know you're getting ready to have a virtual tournament too in a couple of weeks as a part of the longest day fundraiser. So one of the basic things that we do around the country are tournaments or play days. And a lot of times people like to have play days because beginners or those who are just not confident in their play are hesitant to participate in a tournament. And we're all about having fun and raising money. So we want to make it easy for people. We'll let them sit with their friends the whole day if they want to play that way, or rotate tables, or just be with beginners. So we make it easy and adapt it to the group. Additionally, some regular groups just say, we don't want to go to all the trouble of having an event, but we do want to help and we want to have fun. So they will do just a fundraiser with a regular group, and everybody agrees, okay, we're going to donate our winnings during the month of June, or we're going to donate a set amount. People come up with, what they think is reasonable, and they make a donation. Sometimes they'll form a team, or they might elect to just donate to another team that's already in place. This year, we are talking about just for fun, people doing a little jar, decorating it with purple and putting your money in that jar, pass the jar around. And I know at least one of my groups is going to do that for the month. And then, you can shake it up and see what you've got so far. Some people do Facebook fundraisers. Just go out on Facebook and say, I'm raising money for the Alzheimer's Association, and they approach their Mah Jongg friends to do that. There are write-in campaigns. Some teachers are saying, instead of paying me for this series of lessons, we'll make a donation to Mah Jongg for Memories this go round with this group.
Well, that's fabulous.
It's a fabulous thing, and it also, again, you can bring brochures. You can bring in somebody from the Alzheimer's Association to make a quick presentation. So it also raises awareness, and you almost always find someone who currently is either dealing with the disease or knows someone who is, and they're just not sure exactly how to approach them and how to help them. And these are good opportunities.
Yeah, excellent opportunities. And I know that there are many different social events and tournaments going on around the country in the month of June. I don't know all of them, but a good friend of mine, Donna Eshin, is having a big day in California, and the rep out there will be visiting, which is what I love. The representatives in the area are they're so wonderful. I mean, they want to be, it doesn't matter if it's a small event or a large event, they want to come and say a few words and help spread awareness as well. So I really appreciate that. I've had the pleasure to work with some lovely girls in the past several years.
I've met many of them, and they're all delightful. They're dedicated to the cause, and they make a good, presentation and share a lot of good information. Now, before we get off how we're fundraising, I have one other quick thing that I cannot pass up on, since you mentioned Donna.
And I don't want to forget to ask you about something else with the fundraising too, but you may mention it before I ask. So
okay, well, this is the card pre-order initiative that Modern Mahjong and Donna both jumped in on a couple of years ago, and it has been incredibly successful. I am just so grateful for their creativity and it's a lot of hard work too that they put into it. But as much as I'm grateful to them, I'm grateful to all of the thousands of people who took up the cause and bought their cards through them, because for the 2023 year card, they sold, the two of them together sold 12,000 cards. And they will receive in October $60,000 from the National Mahjong League. Thank you, National Mahjong League, too. That will go directly to the Alzheimer's Association as part of our Mahjong from Memories fundraisers. About 26,000 of that was raised by Modern Mahjong, and about 5 by Donna. So it's just, it's phenomenal, and it's it's overwhelming, really. It's so heartwarming.
Well, that was the question I was going to ask you, because I mean, that was, so there are so many ways that people can get involved around the country. You don't have to be, from what I'm hearing you say, you don't have to be a group leader. You can do it with your friends. You could have set up a social play day if you want. You could start selling cards there's many ways. So my next question was going to be is how can people get involved or support Mahjong for Memories? And if you have any additional ways that you want to expound on, please do, because I want to make sure that everybody listening knows that they can. I'm going to talk about the virtual tournament in just a little bit, but any effort, we don't care whether you donate $5 or $1 zillion, because to me, every little bit counts.
Yeah. Exactly right. I mean, it doesn't matter what the amount is. When we know that there are hundreds of thousands of people playing Mahjong right now, just think if each one of them were to give $5 or $10. So it's really just, it's just getting every person to do what they can if they feel that they're committed to it. I'm really, in terms of the kind of fundraiser to do, it's sort of like the sky's the limit. Just, use your own imagination and go for it. A new thing that's being done this year, I've heard that some shops like boutiques or whatever are doing shopping days. So they'll let you invite people to come in, and they will make a donation of a certain percentage of their proceeds for that day to the charity of your choice. So there's really no work for the person who's holding that fundraiser other than inviting their friends. And some of these shops will do food and even little wine coolers and things like that. So just kind of keep your eyes open and see, if you've got a great Mahjong collection, Mahjong set collection, and you just want to invite people over to see your collection, and play. just something that's intriguing to other players, and makes it fun.
Excellent. So if anybody wants to contact you, if they're interested in learning more about putting together some sort of fundraising effort for Mah Jongg for Memories, or even throughout the month of June for the longest day, where should they contact you? And I'll make sure that I put the information in the video description so they have it after.
Okay. The first thing I would advise everyone to do is look at the longest day page, and it is alz.org/Mah Jongg, one word with 2 G's. And that will take you right to our main page that lists all of our teams and where we are fundraising right now. And I will say, I just have to throw it out, we're at over $110,000 right now for this year, which is amazing and incredible.
That is
so on that page, I believe it has my email address also, which is my name, janelle.schatz@gmail.com, that you can find it on that page most easily. And then we do have a Facebook page too, where you can kind of keep up with what we're doing. It's Mah Jongg for Memories, and we would be thrilled if you would go on there and like our page and follow us. It'll just help you keep up with with what we're up to and what's going on there.
Super. Well, I mean, I want to definitely open this up to Q&A from the people with us on Zoom and anybody watching in YouTube. And I want to share first, Janelle, about the virtual tournament that I'm going to be having with I Love Maj. So MajCon and I Love Maj are hosting this tournament together on June 19th. And it's going to be fabulous. We did a test yesterday and it worked flawlessly. Simple, no problems, no connectivity issues. I don't know if you're familiar with the format, but I can share a little bit about the format so you know even how it's going to work, because this is going to open up my virtual tournaments in a whole new light, actually. So normal virtual tournaments that have been done in the past have been done with live people. And one of the biggest challenges about that has been connectivity issues, where somebody has a spotty internet connection or they get kicked offline, they have to come back in, they can't get back in, and it's been a challenge. So Julie and Philippe came up with a brilliant idea, because I went to them and I said, hey, I want to do, every year I've been doing a virtual tournament, but it's been done differently. And again, the challenges have been present in the past. So I said, what can we do? Do you have some idea? Well, they came up with this idea to have the tournament where everybody plays against their advanced level bots. They have intelligence built in their bots. They have a beginner, standard, intermediate, and advanced level. And they are tough, Janelle. I play against them often. I play on Wednesday nights. I do my skill building against them. And I mean, they give me a run for my money. It's unbelievable. So there, everybody will have an even level playing field. Nobody will be playing with somebody who's better or a beginner player, have connectivity issues. It's going to be smooth sailing, and I keep my fingers crossed that it works as well as it did yesterday against the bots. And the best thing is that you can play anytime between 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No rush at all. It's 16 games to get in a 12-hour, if you're on the Eastern coastline, to get in a 12-hour period of time. And on my YouTube channel, MajCon, there are 2 videos that people can watch. There is the one that explains all about the virtual tournament, And then there is another one that is what to expect and the inner workings of the tournament when you actually join the tournament. And I just hope that people do join us, because again, this is, for me, this is my go-to cause. I mean, there are many, I support others throughout the year, but when I connect Mah Jongg to any cause, it's Mah Jongg for Memories and The Longest Day. At my tournaments, I have 50/50s, we have raffles, we do what we can to support Alzheimer's, and I will continue to do so. And I think that is, all I really wanted to say for right now as far as the virtual tournament. And so I'd like to go ahead and open up questions for anybody who might have any questions for you. And again, I just want to let everybody know that if you have any questions, for those of you that joined a little bit later, if you have any questions, you can contact Janelle. I'm going to put her information in the description notes so you can see them there. But this will also be available for replay if you want to catch the beginning, if you did miss any of it. So I'm going to go ahead and make you, if I can do this, I'm going to remove me from spotlight and make you the center of attention. Look at that. There you are. Okay, beautiful. All right, so I am going to go ahead now and open it up. So if anybody has any question, okay, Donna says, thank you, Janelle. And please let me know, Donna, which did you want me to repeat the page? Janelle, is it your page?
Oh, the Facebook page. It's Mah Jongg for Memories.
Okay. I'm going to put it in. Is it one word, Mah Jongg, or two?
It's one word. Yeah, it's just all run together. Mah Jongg for Memories.
Okay. And what about the website where the teams are listed?
And the website is alz.org/Mah Jongg. One word, MAHJONGG. Okay,
I'm going to put that in the chat, but I'll also put that in the description for everybody to have in the video once it's uploaded.
Good.
Okay, and I'll put your email address so anybody can get in touch with you that would like to get in touch with me. Okay, let's see. I have, oh, Carol on YouTube says, I'm watching on my TV, so I won't be able to ask questions. Just wanted to let you know I'm listening. Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you for listening in. Any more questions from anybody out there? And I think, okay, and I think I had another question for you, so I just want to go back to it because I did have a question. Okay, so what are your goals for the next 5 years? Is that too many years to go out? What have you set? Have you set a personal goal for yourself with it? I mean,
I hope I'm alive. That's first goal. Well, we do take, in terms of Mah Jongg for Memories, we do take it really a year at a time. So our first year, our goal was to raise $50,000, and we do want to increase the number of teams that we have, but we're also finding that many times people don't want to do a team; they just want to donate to someone else. So, of course, that's our main goal is our fundraising goal. So for this year, which the fiscal year ends in August for the longest day. So for this year, our goal is 125,000, and we're going to go over that goal. I'm just confident that we are, because we have several fundraisers this month and also others coming up in July and August, and we're already over 110,000. So, it's just it's just amazing, really. And I'm just so grateful to everyone who's helping us. And Debbie, your team is right at 5,000 right now. You're one of our top 10 teams. So, we sure appreciate everything you're doing. And
So welcome.
so every year, hopefully the response will continue to be great with the numbers of players increasing too. That's going to help our success. And so for the fiscal year ended 23 in August, we received we got 30,000 from the National Mah Jongg League for the pre-orders. We already know for next year we're getting 60,000. That will come in October. So we will increase our goal for next year by probably 35 to 40,000.
Wow.
So
something is working. Let's just say it's working. The word is spreading, and the joy of giving for such a great cause. And like you said earlier, everybody probably knows somebody afflicted. I know I had somebody who passed that had it in my family. I have someone else who currently has, dementia. And I sometimes I don't know whether it's, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I've read that dementia, there's all forms of Alzheimer's, and everything is under that guise pretty much. So
it's actually, dementia is like an umbrella term.
Okay, so that's the umbrella.
Kind of like cancer is an umbrella term, and there are many types. Dementia's umbrella, and there's Alzheimer's, which is the most prevalent, but also vascular dementia, Lewy bodies disease, PICS. There are many, many kinds, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we're talking about why people are committed and to this cause and want to help. And one of the reasons is that there are right now 6.7 million people over the age of 65 in our country living with Alzheimer's disease. That doesn't include those who are, like my husband was, under the age of 65. And there are several 100,000 of those people. And it's projected that by the year 2050, I believe there will be about 13 million if there are no answers generated between now and then. So, this money, a large portion of it goes for research, a portion goes for care and for advocacy with our legislature. But the money is, it's really a national imperative. Just the cost to our country of dealing with this, the monetary costs, let alone the emotional and personal devastation that it causes. So, it's something that we all can be proud of being behind and fighting for.
Yeah. And I follow, I read articles, I follow things because I do have somebody close to me currently who's, like I said, suffering, from some form of dementia. They haven't labeled it and I don't know why, or whether, the spouse of this person, I think there's a lot of denial that goes on with caregivers of people with Alzheimer's, and I'm sure you have experienced that as well. But I know that there are programs that are being done, or trials that are being done with new drugs. And from everything that I read, they're promising, not to the point where they just are going to cure it, and you're going to wake up one day and not have it, but where it stalls the progression of the disease. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yes, you're exactly right. The new drugs that are out there right now, and they're in various stages of trials and various stages of approval, not only by the FDA, but also by the government in terms of Medicare paying for
Mhm.
them, which is so important to many. But and the drugs that are in development are to slow down the progression of the disease. They've been shown to do that. But it's baby steps along the way. Everything they learn from a drug that slows down the disease tells them more about what might be causing the disease to begin with, which is still to some extent a big open question.
Yeah.
So yes, they're working on it, and
I
one
mean,
of
it's
the
exciting. If they didn't have the money to
is
fund these programs, I mean, my relative has been in this program for I think it's close to 2 years. And
Mhm.
the amount of tests they do, and I can't even imagine the cost
Mhm.
involved in the drugs and the testing and the time that is given by all of these workers that are
Mhm.
participating,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
these research projects. So, I mean, it's amazing to me. Janelle, I do have a question, and I want to see if I can. This is from Kim. Kim wants to know about I guess, kind of like the organizational chart, she's calling it. So there's Alzheimer's, there's Mah Jongg for memories, there's the longest day. Uh, how does it all work?
There's a lot going on for
Yeah.
sure. Well, the Alzheimer's Association is their home office is in Chicago,
Yeah.
and they have chapters around the country. They have about 80 chapters in different locations, but to some extent, it is like a corporation with many
Mhm.
offices in that way. So each of the chapters has its own leadership, its own programs people, and its own uh, people who go out into the community and represent the organization, and its own fundraisers too. And so the Alzheimer's Walk, which I mentioned earlier, which is much like many other walks that you hear
Mhm.
about as fundraisers, that's one of their primary fundraising initiatives. And then the longest day is another of their primary fundraising initiatives. And so those typically will have the when we're talking about the longest day, a TLD manager in each of those chapters who will work with you if you're having a fundraiser.
And
But
TLD, when you say
is
TLD, that's the longest
the
day.
longest day. And again, because we're talking about do-it-yourself fundraisers,
Mhm.
man, it can be anything. There are people who are mountain climbing, who it's called the 24 Peaks fundraiser, and they are mountain climbing and raising money. People are donating for them to reach their mountain climbing goal. There are bowling teams. There are, what's that popular game that my grandchildren play where they toss that little beanbag thing.
Oh, beanbag toss or whatever it's called.
So I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, and pickleball. I mean, just anything you would think of. People who are interested in that particular activity form a team and do fundraisers. So I hope that answered Kim's question.
Kim, if it didn't answer all of it, please add to your the chat, please. And Kim did ask one more question. She said, "I see on the app that you can deposit a check, but I haven't done it yet. I guess it's self-explanatory. I didn't even know that you could do that
Oh
on there.
yeah. Oh gosh, Debbie, yeah, you need to do this.
Okay.
And Kim, it is self-explanatory. It's very easy. If you, like deposit checks to your bank account, With an app, it's much like that. If you don't, well, you're going to learn how to do it. You'll just, you'll have to log into your own team, and then you'll click on deposit checks, and it will open up the camera, and you'll take a picture of the check made out to the Alzheimer's Association. On the back of the check, you'll endorse it for mobile deposit only, and take a picture of that. You'll enter what the amount is, and then it'll come up with a screen where you have to reflect the name of the donor and their address and that kind of thing. It will automatically try to fill that in from the check itself, but it often doesn't get it right, and you have to correct it. But so it is very simple, and the money goes right into your team immediately. So you don't
Okay,
have to.
so I'm going to
Yeah.
admit that I didn't know this, and I took the money from the last 50/50 raffle, and instead of writing a check out and depositing it from the comfort of my home, I drove to the bank, and I'm pretty technical. So, I mean,
Okay. Well, and it also has on that same app, it
Yeah.
has a credit card option. So if you're taking money from someone at your event and they want to use a credit card, you can use that option on the app. And, again, it will go right into your team
I love that.
credit for the Alzheimer's Association.
I love
It's
that.
the
And by the
easiest
way,
way.
for any of us who had a little memory blip there for a minute, it's cornhole. I couldn't think of it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
cornhole.
That's
So
it.
Jan, who's watching with us, said it's cornhole.
Okay. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you so much, Jan, because I'm like thinking toss, beanbag toss, and of course they
Oh,
are.
yeah, I know.
And I
Me
love
too.
cornhole. I play with my grandkids. I mean, we have it all over here at the different rec centers. And I'm like, what's that
Oh,
game?
boy.
Okay, do I have to start worrying, Janelle?
No, it came back eventually.
Okay.
You're okay.
Well, through Jan, it came back. Okay, I have one more question, and then we'll close it up, unless there's any more questions that come in the meantime. Do you have any Mah Jongg tips for the viewers?
Oh,
Or maybe
gosh.
one Mah Jongg tip? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Well, I'm not your big expert or anything, but I will tell you that the one thing that we've all heard over and over from the day we started playing Mah Jongg is to learn the card. And of course, we have to do that every year since we get a new card every year. So I would, what I do is listen to all the experts, Debbie, to you, to Barney, to Julie, to everybody. The presentations, read the printed material that you all put out. And then I practice. I practice with the robots. I practice playing solitaire with my card and my own tiles, and I play. I mean, I think that's for me what it comes down to is study and play and study.
I love that. I
That's
love
what it
that.
takes.
Study, play, study. Now that's really great. I got to get in more playing time. How often do you play?
Well, I have my regular group on Monday, but now I also have kind of a regular group on Tuesday.
Oh,
and
kind of a regular.
we don't do it every week, but we do it a lot. And then been teaching people. It's a 6-week series, and yes, I do it as a fundraiser out at a club I belong to. And so those ladies, mostly ladies, although I taught 8 men, they play every Thursday afternoon. So I sometimes meet up with them, just kind of because they've always got questions. You know how it is when you're first learning. So
Well, I
anyway,
got to tell you, I learned, I mean, I thought I knew a lot about all of this and the cause of Alzheimer's and Mah Jongg for Memories and the Longest Day, but I learned a whole lot from you tonight. And I already have my brain working on more things that I can do
Good.
for the effort.
Yay.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I'm really thrilled, and I hope that this will help spread the word. And one of the best things about tonight is that this video is going to be on YouTube, and the replay will be available for everybody to watch. And that's where we get the biggest views. There's a lot of times people can't make an event, a live stream event like this online, which I understand, but thank God for YouTube and the viewing audience out there that supports my channel and other channels. I can't live without YouTube. I got to tell you, I think I'm searching something in YouTube to learn something new almost every day. So it's just it's a great platform, and I will share this with everybody. And Janelle, are there any more questions before we sign off tonight? So I don't see any more on there, but I thank you so much for sharing everything and for the effort that you put into this incredible cause. You're amazing, really.
Oh,
I just appreciate so much what you do and how much effort you put into it, and you do it with such passion. So thank you.
well, thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity, and I love meeting more and more Mah Jongg players. So thanks, and I hope to meet everybody.
We're going to see you at MajCon this year again. So you'll be there for a third year. You'll have a table as well to help spread awareness, and we'll have another silent auction to raise more money. So I look forward to seeing you at MajCon in October. All right. Yep. Thank you so much, Janelle. And good night. And I appreciate you being here. We'll talk soon, I'm sure.
Okay. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Bye-bye.